Have you ever stopped to think about the jobs that used to power America but have now completely disappeared? I mean, just vanished. Today, we're going to crack open the history books and look at some of these forgotten careers that technology just, well, left in the dust. But first, let me ask you something, and really think about it. Before your smartphone alarm, before there were cheap clocks in every single house, how on earth did millions of factory workers get to their shifts before the sun was even up? Well, the answer wasn't a thing. It was a person with a real job that just doesn't exist anymore. And it's the perfect example of how technology doesn't just change things, it completely rewrites the rules for how we live and work. So let's dive in. All right, first up, we've got a job with probably one of the greatest names I've ever heard, the knocker-up. And no, that's not a joke. This was a super important job in old industrial towns. You heard me right. A knocker-up was literally a human alarm clock. For just a small fee, they would walk down the dark streets and tap, tap, tap on your window with a super long pole, or even toss little pebbles at it, just to make sure you got up for your shift. Talk about a personal wake-up call, huh? And you can see the whole story right here, side by side. On one side, you've got this very personal human service that was part of the community. On the other, a little piece of personal tech. The second alarm clocks got cheap enough for everyone to own one, poof, the entire profession of the knocker-up was gone. Just like that. Okay, so our next job, it wasn't quirky. It was just plain grueling. See, before we had refrigerators, keeping your food fresh depended on the incredibly dangerous, back-breaking work of the ice cutter. The whole process was just intense. Imagine, men would have to go out onto frozen lakes in the absolute dead of winter using these enormous saws to carve out huge, heavy blocks of ice. Then they had to haul those blocks away and store them in insulated houses for the summer. I mean, it was freezing, dangerous, and unbelievably tough work. This right here shows the incredible leap we made. An entire industry, from the guys cutting the ice to the people delivering it for your icebox, was basically wiped out by a single home appliance. The refrigerator didn't just make things better. It completely eliminated the need for the old way of doing things by the 1930s. Now for our third job, we're shifting gears. This one was less about brute force and more about human connection and total precision, the switchboard operator. For decades, these folks were the literal central nervous system of American communication. Yeah, before you could just pick up a phone and dial a number yourself, every single call had to go through an operator. These were incredibly skilled workers, mostly women, who sat in front of these huge boards, manually plugging in wires to connect you to the person you wanted to talk to. It was a crazy, high-pressure job that needed insane speed and focus. So just think about that shift for a second. We went from a visible, human-powered connection for every single call to a totally invisible, automated one that happens in milliseconds. It's no wonder that by the 1960s, this once essential job was quickly becoming a thing of the past. So we've got a quirky job, a grueling one, and a highly skilled one, and they're all gone. You know, these aren't just random, isolated stories. When you kind of zoom out, you start to see this very clear, repeating pattern of progress and, well, replacement. Just look at this timeline. It's like clockwork. In the 20s, electric streetlights came in and bam, the lamplighter was gone. The 30s roll around and mass refrigeration wipes out the ice cutter. Then you get to the 60s and 70s and automation takes over for switchboard operators and even elevator operators. Decade after decade, you see technology just systematically erasing entire professions. And that right there is the real takeaway. This stuff isn't just about making our lives a little more convenient. These innovations fundamentally rewired how we live, how we talk to each other, how we organize our entire society. Each one of these vanished jobs is a milestone of progress, sure, but it also represents a whole way of life that just disappeared along with it. So all of this leads to one final, kind of provocative question for us right now. Looking at this pattern from the past, you have to ask yourself, which of the jobs that we consider absolutely essential today are on the verge of becoming a historical curiosity for the next generation? What do you think is next?